Enough with the shenanigans, Michael. God damn it. Oh, I thought it was empty. You're a slow drinker.
All right, greetings. Welcome to HASSDISCUSSES. I'm here joined with, Drew Dumchus and too much laid back. Table forward. All right, so we're here to be talking about, best kind of early 2000s films in general. I was kind of thinking like pre 2005 or 6. Let's do pre 2006 because I don't know. What would you say is early 2000? Do you want to?
I'd say 2000, between 2007 and 2008, that became an era of its own. So I'd say around that time, that's not
Ended at 2008.
Between 2007 and 2008, that's the grace period.
Because we want to talk up to Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Yeah.
So so with Pirates of the Caribbean, we just watched Dead Man's Chest, and we've all personally seen all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So we're gonna be mainly focusing on the
early three.
The early three.
The trilogy. Let's keep it that.
The
way.
OGs. The OG trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Star Wars films, the original 3 are better than the later installments.
Oh, so Michael is saying that the original trilogy is better than the
sequel trilogy.
What about the what's it called?
That's the prequels.
The prequels, yeah.
Yeah, everybody thinks that.
Okay.
Shut up, Drew. We're also here to talk about a film in 2003 that came to 2002.
City of God.
City of God.
I don't know speak.
Yeah, Portuguese. And we can even talk about Tannenbaums if you'd like.
Tennenbaums as well.
Tennenbaums. You've corrected me on that.
It's not Tannen. It's Tennenbaums.
Not Tannen. Tennen. And here's
another great gem from the early 2000s. Here we're talking about not the Dark Knight or anything like that, not Fight Club or whatever. We're just talking about movies that you should watch. If you haven't watched, you should watch. You might have watched it before, but it's important that you watch these movies because they're gems and they all come with a similar energy that was really popular around this time. Directors like Wes Anderson coming out, or just chaotic documentary-esque flicks, or large-scale action sequences for movies like the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, so in general, just early 2000s gems. We could talk about The Departed. And that brings me back to a Lil Wayne quote: "Word to Marky Mark, leave a snitch departed."
Nerd.
That's great. All the drinks are empty. So what's your first experience with Pirates of the Caribbean?
Me?
Yeah, in general.
Well, first time I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, I was 5, and I just loved the vibe. I was at Disney at the time, so I just went on the ride, got some stuff. It's such a vibe, the whole pirate theme. It really just, especially the world building by the directors and the
Gore Verbinski,
Terry the legend of.
He did The Ring too.
Yeah.
It
just makes you feel like you're in a world and you want to go there. I'd rather go there than the mundane, bleak lives we live now. Being a pirate.
Because the only thing you got to worry about is
getting that cheddar.
You don't even worry about that bread, that plunder,
that scurvy.
You got to have a strap on you at all times, and you got to have a ship, or you got to be part of a ship.
Yeah.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
And it's just
part of the ship, part of the crew.
The code.
The code.
And
I want guidelines anyways.
Yeah. The series is just phenomenal. Johnny Depp plays a great lead, very charismatic, very different from the average pirate. You think of a pirate, you think of some sleazy, gross, gritty, gravelly voice person, but no, Johnny Depp plays some strange,
brings that swagger,
erotic swag man, and he does it in a really good way. It's one of his most iconic roles. It's one of the most iconic roles in Disney's repertoire.
For sure. And I've been watching these movies since I was about
a wee lad.
You were
knee high to a grasshopper.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's just I remember summers when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. The only 3 movies I'd watch each summer. I'd watch, I always watch the Home Alone trilogy. Not the trilogy. Only the first two movies are
First
good.
two,
Home Alone.
Yeah, Donald Trump, Lost in New York.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Another
one. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean and the prequels.
The prequels, the Star Wars prequels.
I watched the prequels more than the original trilogy, and I'm not saying they're better. I'm just saying in general.
People
when I
prefer
was a
it
kid.
because it's more fun. Like I'd rather watch Godzilla than Taxi Driver, Joker.
Exactly. You heard it.
Like,
you heard.
Just because the movie's boring doesn't mean it's like the greatest movie ever made. I'd rather watch a more entertaining movie that sacrifices plot.
You heard it. And
also, you heard it here, folks.
Great covers.
Great covers for these great movies. You want to see another great cover? Here, Mike, show it to the camera. Jamie.
Depressed faces.
Jamie. We'll get into that later, but right now it's about Pirates of the Caribbean, the hit series based off of a Disney ride.
You know, it's another movie based off of a Disney ride is
Splash.
I haven't heard of that one, but I was gonna talk about Tomorrowland. I'm not gonna do a full-on review of it, but it's like this girl goes to like this like It's a Wonderful Life ride or some shit. I don't know, but she finds this pin and then it takes her to this thing that transports her to the
thing
and to the future.
It's thing and like
I don't know. It was good for a ride, but it was George Clooney and some bad blonde girl from like Disney.
Nah, dude, George Clooney. Hip hop rap.
The fucking Eric Andre show.
Jamie, pull that up.
Jamie, pull it up. That's Jamie is basically Mike in post production, pulling up clips to edit over this shit.
Yeah, we need some good clips, Michael.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit the shit out of this one, man.
For real?
Yeah, I've been lacking with my editing recently.
Yeah, but it's okay because my cast is on the rise.
I'm
it's going to culminate. It's going to peak. It's going to climax all over everyone in the YouTube community because my cast is the best content creator out there.
Just making sure this don't fall. But let's talk about Chris the Black Pearl specifically. A lot of people realize this is the everybody dick rides this movie. Everybody's like, "Oh, Chris the Black Pearl is the best."
Everyone I've talked to says that Dead Man's Chest is the best. It's like saying Dead Man's Chest is the best is like saying Empire Strikes Back is the best. Like everyone says, everyone agrees on it.
But listen, if you go back to like 2011 film reviews with Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman, or the Flick Pick, they all say the same shit. They all say, "Oh, I love Curse of Black Pearl."
Oh, I didn't know that.
But Dead Man's Chest and At World's End were not as good as the first one. And I have to really objectively disagree with that. I love Curse of Black Pearl. It's very, let's just say, there's less over-the-top humor compared to the second films. Because, like, it's so much like
it's like a rinky-dink pirate movie.
Like, you could just tell Johnny Depp's having a good time. With every movie he's in this
he's got a
franchise,
swag.
he's always got some crazy charismatic scheme, whatever.
Charismatic.
So the first time we see him enter, the universe, we see him and he goes to Port Royal to commandeer a ship, which basically means take a ship. If you didn't know what that means, because
I did not know. Thank you, Michael.
Shut up. So he's going into Port Royal and his ship is literally sinking, and just as his ship sinks, he steps onto the deck. And
that just shows his whole. That's so much character development.
Like he don't give a shiznit about anything, and he and the guy at the boat is like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "How about I'll give you some money and I'll have to tell you my name, because if somebody knows my name, then I'm gonna get arrested because I'm a pirate." And he's like, "Here's some money," and the other guy's like, "Welcome to Port Royal, Mr. Smith," like just BS name, and he's just like, "Hey, thank you," and then the other guy walks away. And then he sees a little bag of coins right by the little dock boat where you write down your name as you dock your boat. And he takes the bread and just keeps walking. Like, he's such a savage. He's such a savage. And it's just like...
you get all the while in the back on, you got that theme music playing, the medallion calls or whatever it's called. Like, it's so hype. Hans Zimmer did a great job on the score. Oh, wait, it wasn't Hans Zimmer.
Yes, it was.
Movie.
Oh, snap.
It was some, like, Klaus dude. I forgot his name.
Klaus.
Great job on the soundtrack.
Yeah, but
great part about the movie.
The thing is like I think what the first movie does is establish is what each character wants. And so we see Jack Sparrow just wants
Money.
he wants
And himself.
money. He wants himself.
Just
But
wants
he starts to
push
find a
himself
couple
forward.
friends that he wants to look out for. Because he doesn't really care about the betterment of society at all, or like any of these, like there's no like, because there's no established place he is. Like he's just like, because they're all
He's
settlements. Like they don't even, like they say they don't even call it like
Yeah.
America or Britain. They just call them settlements. Like it's very, there's not really like an established world at all. It's very just, we're gonna go here, discover this island. There might be a couple cannibal natives. But we'll get out of here. We'll get out of here. And that's what makes this so fun, is there's always these shenanigans.
These shenanigans.
And you guys are probably thinking, okay, well, what's the plot of this shit? well, the first Pirates of the Caribbean is, Elizabeth goes to settle in Port Royal. And on the way, they see a shipwreck that is completed by, and there was an attack on a ship with, that was attacked by the Black Pearl. And the only survivor is Will Turner. And Elizabeth falls in love with Will Turner. So we see their dynamic, but all the ladies back then were basically gold digging bitches, and his
wenches.
And his mom, his dad, Elizabeth's dad was kind of like, why don't you date the general guy? You know what I mean? Why don't you date the general guy, Mr. Norrington? And she's like, yeah, that'd be...
Commodore Norrington.
She'd be like, that'd be okay.
All right,
He's got a lot of honor, but William's a day one.
He's a day one. He's a real one. From the trenches.
Like, he's from the... Yeah. So, that's a good, interesting love triangle, is Norrington, Will Turner, and, Elizabeth.
And it turns into a love parallelogram, because Jack Sparrow's, trying to...
He gets in the mix in the next movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got the love around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow said, what that mouth do? But whatever.
No.
Inappropriate. But yeah, so that's a crazy dynamic. And so back to the Black Pearl.
Black to the Black Pearl.
Back to the Black Pearl. Back to the Black Pearl. Oh, right. Crazy puns.
Wait.
So as she's settling this land in, I believe Port Royal is near Jamaica. It's in the Caribbean, obviously, Pirates of the Caribbean. So they're settling, and there's an attack by the Black Pearl. Black Pearl kind of escapes everything. Then 10 years later, there's this cursed treasure that Elizabeth found at the wreck, and then the cursed pirates are looking for the treasure to stop their curse. They don't like being cursed no more.
That sucks, man.
It sucks. So they're killing anybody out of their way to get these gold to stop their curse, because they don't like being skeleton people. Because when the moon hits, they become skeleton people.
Not cool.
Not cool. Dang it. So it's kind of crazy. What's going on? They're just like, pillaging, killing people. So so they end up taking Elizabeth, and then Will goes up to Jack Sparrow, and who's got locked up because he's a pirate. So he's like, hey, why don't you help me get my girl back, because you know where these pirates might be, because what is found out is that Jack Sparrow used to be tied to those pirates. He had mob ties.
East
He
India
used to be,
Trading Company.
yeah, he used to be friends with those pirates, and he actually used to be the captain of those pirates. And
Fog.
yeah, there's a lot of legendary people that we're introduced to. Those two goons, tall, skinny guy, and short, stout guy.
He's balding. No one guy didn't get the
But he still has the long hair. He's balding, but he still has the long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of adventures, but what ends up is they end up finding the bad pirates who are killing people and taking the gold to stop their curse, and I feel like their motivation was just to not be cursed, and I don't like their villain motivation as much as I like Barbossa, but I don't like their motivation as much as Davy Jones in the next one.
Yeah, Barbossa's like a cool person. Like although
I'm glad he became a good guy.
Yeah, he was like the main villain of that movie, but he gives off like anti-hero kind of vibes. I think he's a great character. Yeah, but what I like a lot about these movies, the first two in particular, is that it's really easy to distinguish like what every character's goal is. Like that's the most important part about the movie and advancing the plot. Everyone has slightly different and unique roles, and they all like come together and culminate in some kind of MacGuffin or just some grand like set piece or something. You know,
MacGuffins aren't bad. I like MacGuffins.
yeah, MacGuffins can be good. In some cases, they're pretty bad, but in these movies, they're great. So
In Rise of Skywalker, half MacGuffins were useless and stupid. Half of them were actually interesting. And just the note about Rise of Skywalker, I think it's more entertaining than fucking... Oh, no, I said a bad word. Than The Last Jedi. Because there's actually something driving the story compared to just, like, Luke milking a alpaca.
milking alpaca with green milk.
Yeah, so MacGuffins can be good. In this case, MacGuffins can be good and bad, but in this case, with Pirates of the Caribbean, really great. Really great.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, for example, in Dead Man's Chest, the MacGuffin is literally Davy Jones's
Heart.
his heart. You know, like that's not some little rock or something. You know, like it's a legitimate heart. That's an organ. He needs it to live, and he's another major character. He's basically the main villain of the movie and of the series for the most part.
For
He has
sure.
the longest fan. He's the Gus Fring of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Gus Fring, man.
The Gustavo.
Gustavo. Man.
And
You know what I've been, and speaking of just 2000, early 2000s, isn't this when the Sopranos came out?
Sopranos.
Dude, everybody's been telling me to watch that, and, like, I really want to watch it. Even Adam22's watching it.
Huh.
Right when he was filming a nice family-friendly video with Trisha Paytas. Oh.
Yeah, the Sopranos. Yeah, a little. It gets a little racy, but it's still cool. Drew's take.
Thank you, Drew. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right.
Yep.
Back
So,
to
Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah. Dead Man's Chest.
So, we just finished this gem.
Finish this gem, uncut gem, underrated, underground movie, just like the 1975 in Tame Impala. Never heard of him before.
No.
Yes,
Even though they headlined Coachella, they're an underground band that nobody knows about.
that is true.
Up, you'll shut.
All right, Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah, so this gem of a movie, so it starts off and the wedding of Will and Elizabeth, the day ones.
The day one.
It just gets completely goodbye. Dang it. So
Because
just
they are arrested.
Yeah, they got arrested for helping Jack Sparrow by the leader of the East India Trading Company, and it really shows how small the world is getting because there's so much settling going on
There's nothing left
in the
to
Americas.
explore.
Yeah, because just really just gives you, this whole series brings you back to a time where there's so much to explore in general, like with the world and how much like things are slowly being settled, and it's just like, man. And so, yeah, wedding gets messed up. They get arrested, and but Will strikes a deal with the leader of the East India Trading Company, which is kind of taken over the settlements. And he's like, how about you get Jack Sparrow's compass, which leads to, because Jack Sparrow has a magical compass that points to whatever he wants.
His greatest desire.
Exactly. We got Desires by Future and Drake. So... yeah, so he wants to get this compass. So, leader of the East India Trading Company, Cutler Beckett, tells Will, "Why don't you go get that compass?" And what ends up happening is, he goes around trying to find. There's a good montage where he's like talking to a billion people, and he's like, "Where's Jack Sparrow? Where's Jack Sparrow?" And there's like that. There's that Jamaican guy, the white guy, and there's all these people, and he's like, "Why don't you go to Singapore? He'd probably be in Singapore. I heard he's dead. I heard he. It's so many crazy. It really shows the impression that Jack Sparrow has left on everybody around the Caribbean.
Some people think he's dead, but he's still everyone just knows him. Everyone just feels his vibrations.
The vibrations, man.
He's
yeah,
a big person.
He's a large entity.
Watching him go around and know that this is piracy.
Delving.
This is peak piracy.
Yeah, exactly. Peak piracy.
Yeah.
Peak piracy.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. He's got a reputation in cinema too. One of the greatest heroes ever in cinema. Cinema. No, your average film student would be like, Travis Bickle,
Travis Bickle from Taxi.
He's better
of all time because it's boring and it's a good movie. It's a great movie. You know, it's one of the best movies, whatever. But it's like,
I'd rather watch Dead Man's Chest.
Like you don't play Taxi Driver in front of the hose. You
Fucking
got
facts.
5 girls over. All right, steps the Taxi Driver.
Let's watch something about the a human evaluation of the lonely man in the 70s Vietnam War.
Put the Joker on.
Put the Joker on.
Dim and
Let's watch something that will make you rethink your day-to-day routine. Like, whatever.
fun movies that are also well made.
Dude, and yeah, man. So, Dead Man's. Yeah, man. Let's put this right here. Just talk a little up. Speak up. So basically, with Dead Man's Chest, it's just like there's so much going on, and it's a lot to take in. So you have the wedding happen, and he's looking for his compass so he can free his wife. Okay, Will wants the compass to free his wife Elizabeth, so he has to go find Jack Sparrow. He finds Jack Sparrow on an island with cannibals. And so he has to free him from these cannibals that think he's a god.
And they have to burn him and eat him so he goes back into his god form.
Yeah, but that's all bullshit. Like,
really? I thought it was real.
But, so, it's all just bullshit. Stop!
Yeah.
Thank you very much for stopping. Really appreciate it. You see, ask nicely, and your problems will be solved.
Yes.
Alright, so basically, yeah, they go to the Cannibal Island and they run. There's that iconic shot, which I will show to y'all right now. The, let me see.
See that?
Focus in on that.
Focus. Get out of the shot, Mike.
You know what I mean, though.
You know what I mean? The shot where he's running from... Oh, Mike.
Like a million people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll show it. I'll edit it in. But,
the stakes in the movie are just... They've already been increased.
Facts.
Now the stakes are just so huge. But, you know Jack Sparrow's gonna live and he's gonna like, succeed at whatever he tries to do. But it's still gonna be tense. It's still gonna be fun to watch. You still enjoy watching it because it's not like... The hero drop kicks people and they die instantly, and he's
exactly
really
like there's so much interesting ways that he gets past what is going on. They're trapped in this cage, hung from 2 cliffs in the middle with the rope over it, and they have to swing back and forth to then grab ropes and climb up without falling. And if they fall, then the rope will break. And it happens for half of the crew on another ball that has the same attached things, and half of the crew dies, and then they have to keep going up as they're being chased and shot at by people from the top. And then they have there's so many elaborate things for how they're escaping cannibals just to get this compass. And sometimes so much good stuff and interesting stuff happens that you have to understand why the fuck is this happening in the first place. And then you realize, oh, it's for the compass. So then, compass, this and that happens, and then we kind of forget about Cutler Beckett because he's not really in that much of the movie.
Yeah, although it's kind of they knew a third maybe he was going to come out, and he's just this formidable character. And you see how much power this guy already has. He can arrest a governor. He can, sentence 2 people to death if he wants to. And at the end of the movie...
During their wedding, though. That's the crazy part. They sentence them to death during the wedding.
But at the end of the movie, the Commodore, whatever his name is, he presents the heart. And, stuff's going to go down. Like, these people they can arrest government officials. What are you going to do with Davy Jones' heart? Are you going to,
yes, so that's what they're looking for next. Everybody wants Davy Jones' heart because that controls the sea, and that controls the Kraken, which is a very powerful, giant octopus creature that controls, that like if you got the Kraken, you control the sea because you just put a head out on everyone, just like Drake did to XXX Tentacion, and many other people Drake has killed. Talk to Matthew Murphy about that. So basically,
link down in the description. Matthew Marifiotti, watch it right now.
Yeah, best YouTube channel ever, next to Mike Media Incorporated.
No, he's in the Matthew Marifiotti's in the top 2, but he's not number 2. He's number 1. All right, go on.
He's Mike. Non-debate. All right. So basically, Dead Man's Chest, good but inconclusive. let's just say that I don't want to spoil the end and all that stuff. I mean, I don't want to go full spoilers, but like a lot of Kraken stuff happened. There's attacks from these giant
from
monsters.
2006, we could spoil it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So basically, everybody's running from this giant octopus creature, and throughout the entire movie, and they're fighting with the Davy Jones because they have possession of Davy Jones's heart, which is like this real thing because like he curses people that drown at sea, and he's like the gateway between.
He ferries souls.
Yeah, exactly, onto his ship, or you go to the locker, and yeah, he goes to the gym locker. So basically, yeah, Jack Sparrow goes down with his ship because Elizabeth is a female dog and chains him to the thing.
But it had to happen.
It's a bit kinky, but it had to happen. So that happened, and all the friends on the ship get away alive. There's so many good characters, like the guy with the parrot on his shoulder.
He's just some old geezer with a parrot on his shoulder.
Geezer.
I don't even think he says a word, but
he can't. That's why he has the parrot, because the parrot talks for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The short fella, he's a cool guy. He's very stoic. And cool.
Stoic.
And yeah, every character is just dripping with personality. You look at someone and you can already just tell so much about them. You see their mannerisms, the way they speak, their voice, the words they say, and it's just great. You know, this isn't some random movie where the pirate crew would just be a bunch of randoms that they just hired. You know, like some
pulled off the streets.
Yeah. Like here, like people are deliberately casted. They're iconic. You know, with such little words, kind of like the Coen brothers. Honestly, these characters are just oozing with personality. That's a great thing about this movie.
Oozing.
Like everyone's just iconic.
And this movie is also filmed back to back.
Which is, you can watch, the movies are meant to be watched, you know, together. You're supposed to watch all movies on a binge. But what's great about them is you can just watch any movie, any of the three, and you'd understand what's going on. Because it's, you know, you don't have to be a film genius to understand the movies. That's just why they're great.
Yeah, they're for everyday audiences, but they can also be, the characters' motivations can be really analyzed in great ways.
Mm-hmm. Which in the around the climax of Dead Man's Chest, there's this culmination of all these people's, their desires. Everyone wants Davy Jones's heart for a different reason, and you know only one person is gonna get what they want in the end. Not everyone's gonna, Will Turner's not gonna get his dad back. Jack Sparrow's not gonna be safe from the Kraken, or what's his name? I keep forgetting his name.
Norrington, Captain Norrington.
Commodore, not he's not gonna get his life back. Something's not gonna happen to two of these people. So there's a lot of odds, and you don't know who's gonna win in the end, which is great. So, yeah,
for sure.
Now,
let's get into the.
Let's get into the classic 2002 film.
Right.
Oh wait, never mind.
So, at World's End.
Let's
get into this.
I thought you were doing.
So it was filmed back to back, and the Maelstrom sequence. There's this giant battle. It is beautiful, man.
Over a maelstrom, which is like a giant whirlpool in the ocean that goes to the floor of the ocean. So basically, if you fall off, you're getting sucked down to the bottom of the ocean, and the ships are circling around it in some epic fight in the middle of a rainstorm. And there's so much going on.
Together, united to preserve the pirates' lifestyle, and the brethren court of all the pirates come together against the East India Trading Company and Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman, and they all just fight them in this giant battle at the end to preserve the pirate way of lifestyle and the freedom they all had. But just re-recording. So yeah, just in general, epic movie. Very I don't want to compare it to Endgame, but it's like the end of all things. The end of all things, and that's why after this one. This is such a finale that the other movies that come after this are kind of they feel very insignificant. Yeah. And I just say overall the best three things about this are the opening scene in Singapore.
Yeah.
And new cast members. The Davy Jones' locker sequence was funny and crazy, and also the Maelstrom battle is like top tier battle ever in cinema history, and it's just insane greatness.
But going back to what you said about the Davy Jones locker sequence, the movie, everyone on the crew wasn't scared to go a little experimental and strange with things. Like, that was a really odd but enjoyable sequence with Jack Sparrow.
Never seen anything like
being
that
resuscitated. Yeah, it's just you don't see things like this in movies, in big movies by Disney, made for audience 13 and younger, and they pulled it off, and it was great. This is probably my least favorite, or At World's End is probably my least favorite of the three.
You don't like length in movies because this is like fucking 3 hours.
No, I like length in movies. I like 4 hour long.
Probably 69 minutes.
The length isn't the problem. I just prefer the other movies so much. This is a great movie, but the others are perfect. Like, they're just perfect cinema.
This is Mike S. Here with Drew Dumchus, and we just finished talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, the first 3 movies. Now let's get on to a great film called City of God.
Alright, this is one of our favorite movies of all time. A lot of the time when I'm asked what my favorite movie is, I'll say City of God is my favorite, just because I don't want to be pretentious and say, like, The Grand Budapest Hotel or Schindler's List or, something like that is my favorite movie. Because this is a great movie that not everyone knows about. If you know about it, you know it's a great movie, and we'll tell you why you should watch it.
Yeah, so I think this is, I have to say the same thing about when somebody asks me what's my favorite film. I usually say City of God. So the thing about City of God, right, is like when somebody asks me what my favorite movie is, I say this, and it's been like that since 2 years ago.
Because when somebody asks me what my favorite movie is, I say City of God.
That's it. No,
because when people
all right, so this follows a lot of teenagers in the really poor area called the City of God or Cidade de Deus. I don't know how you say it.
It's a favela within Rio de Janeiro
in Brazil, and this movie is entirely in Portuguese. But I mean, a lot of y'all are anime heads. Y'all watch like anime and have the subtitles on. If you really don't want to, if you're gonna tell me you don't want to watch this movie because of the subtitles, how lazy of an individual do you really have to be? Like how many lack of brain cells do you have? Like, you're telling me you're not gonna watch a movie? Like, can you not read? Like, do you like? I don't know. So you better watch this. Because
I'm watching. You better watch this. All right.
We got eyes. We got mob ties.
Look through your internet history. You better be watching this on Netflix or other streaming services.
Facts. So in the 60s, there was a lot of floods in Rio. So when these floods were happening, a lot of new, very poor communities were being built by the government. So not a lot of funding went into these communities, but they named them a lot of like things. And for instance, they called this city in the movie. It's explained that this place is called City of God because they wanted people to go there. They wanted poor people to go there, and they called it City of God just to get people to go there.
God's gonna help you through this, son.
But no, God didn't help them through all the crack cocaine, the drug dealing, and all the gang violence and gang wars and poor lack of electricity and all this crazy shiznit going on.
These people are, brought up in these small, tight-knit communities. Everyone knows each other, and the cool kids are the kids who hold up joints, rob trucks, they steal. These people, these criminals, this is like the lifestyle because they make
They're
more
like
money
Robin Hoods.
They make more
They're
money.
Robin Hood figures.
Exactly.
They steal get from gas trucks because they want to give propane for people's houses and their ovens, and they're helping their community by being and doing illegal things, and it's all because of lack of funding in the area and just the lack of responsibility the government has taken for their people. And so you were introduced to the Tender Trio in the beginning, Shaggy and all those 3 people. Lil Z is kind of some little kid that's been
Lil Dice at the time.
Lil Dice, and he's following him around, and he's like, "Hey, yo, I got a couple suggestions I can help y'all out." And he's like, "Why don't we rob a motel?" So they do that. The Tender Trio goes there, brings Lil Dice along, but they're like, "Lil Dice, why don't you play hideout? Why don't you make sure nothing's going on?" So, as a kid, I've played Manhunt with kids at, the beach, right? And if you're gonna be the character who plays, so in Manhunt, this sounds, really off topic, but listen. So, in Manhunt, there's, this jail like when you tag someone, you bring them to the jail. And the worst role you can have in the game is to be the guy who watches the people at the jail. Like that shows that you're useless. You're a useless individual. So what the Tender Trio made Lil Dice feel is useless by not being able to partake in the robbery. So what Lil Dice did is he used his gun to shoot, and they thought the police were there. The Tender Trio thought the police were there because he was shooting at the window. So they ran away with the money. There's no police there. Lil Dice goes in, massacres the entire motel, and barely anything got taken away. But he was fulfilling his need to kill because Lil Dice is a little scumbag. Mm-hmm. And what he did is he goes away from the city for a while because nobody knows about him, and he's just kind of this guy who was there, and then he's gone, and he comes back later. But let's focus on the Tender Trio. So after this robbery, the Tender Trio get blamed for the murders.
Tender Trio.
Stop saying it.
I was just saying the trio. All right. If I'd like to make a point real quick.
Hold on the microphone.
Well, some people might think that Lil Z is just some evil psychopath, which he may as well be. But a lot of the reason why people like this, get involved in this trade, in this business, especially in this movie, as an example, is because this Robin Hoodism, people look up to these people, and this creates the illusion that all crime is good, crime is for the better, crime is beneficial because it brings in more money and more people are happy as a result of crime. No one cares about the means to this end. Lil Z doesn't care about these people that he's killing. He just gets the euphoria from doing the crime and executing a flawless heist.
He does. And so everybody blames it on the trio, and they're complete, like... Carrot knows about everything. Wait, no, not Carrot. The other guy, Shorty. Shorty's like, right. So Shorty knows about this, and he tells the police. He's a snitch, and he tells on the police about everything that went down. And one member of the trio goes religious, has a great life. One member of the trio is like the main character's friend, because this is basically the whole premise of the movie. Like, if you were to write down the premise of the movie, is the main character's brother, or the main character is a photographer who documents a gang war in the city. Like, that's what it says on the back of the CD for the shit, which is like so much like 1/3 of the movie. Like, if you really think about it, because it's just in general into the whole city. And yeah, so we see the brother kind of try and become normal and sell fish and stuff, but he is messing with Shorty's wife, and then he ends up being attacked and kind of escapes, and then that makes it so basically all these guys get arrested. The Tender Trio all get arrested in some one way or form, but the way it's edited and filmed, except for the church guy, but the way it happens and the way it's edited just makes it so like emotional. Like when Shaggy gets killed and the shot with the car running away and the guitar music's playing, and how they were gonna run away and go to a farm and sell like and grow weed and have this beautiful life. But
wrong people.
No, that's Shaggy and Bernice.
No, that the growing weed and stuff. That's Benny and his girl.
Yeah, whatever. But they were gonna run away in general.
We didn't say Shaggy got a girlfriend and he focused on her more than the criminal life. He forgot about the criminal life. He's like, it's my girlfriend, it's my life now. I don't care about crime. I just want to get out of here, get out of the city you got. So basically what Mike is saying. But yeah, he tries to escape. They take their opportunity. They get found out. The car breaks down, so he has to run through, and he gets gunned down. And he's made a public like effigy of why you shouldn't do crime. And
yeah, sad moment. And we even see Bernice later in the film with another character. She's
a prostitute now.
Is she?
Maybe, I don't know. It just shows that she's disloyal, and Shaggy did all this for nothing.
Well, she didn't leave.
Oh yeah, she never left the city of God. So.
Which should, because there's a lot of like a dynamic of who's able to leave and who does not leave. Like the main character leaves at the end, like because he's a nice person. And he's a photographer, and he didn't use someone for his benefit. Because what most of these, like for instance, there's this beautiful moment where the redhead kid has been doing a lot of coke. Tiago's been doing a lot of cocaine, and Benny sees him, and is like, dang, this guy's kind of really sad. Why not be nice to this guy and offer to, go for a bike ride with him and do a race with him? Remember that moment?
Yeah.
That's a good moment. But at the end of the moment, he's like, hey, yo, I like your clothes. Why don't you give me some clothes? Like, there's always some commodity. People are always seen as a commodity in City of God. They're always being used for something. And while it is a beautiful moment and he's being friends with somebody who's, like, heavily a drug addict, he's going to, like, enlist him.
He's going to use him to, like, make himself more hip, in front of different groups of people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's always some benefit. And that's why, like, that's what the plague for these communities is like, in the movie, is there's always something being, like,
there's
used
just
for
manipulation.
It's always there's always manipulation. For instance, when the gang war happens, because Benny, rest in peace, Benny, he is one of the most likable characters. Everybody's like, yo, the coolest hood in the City of God, because he's nice. Like, he gives away drugs for free. He also invites all these people to these parties at his birthday, at his going away party with his girlfriend. He was gonna have he had all the crowds. He had the hipster crowd, and he had the soul crowd and the gospel crowd, and the all these people, and he had rival gangs come together. Carrot and Lil Z, and also Lil Dice has this like awesome, cool satanic transformation ritual thing where he changes his name to from Lil Dice to Lil Z, and it's a very cool, crazy. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, there's that background music, and it's like. And it's
it was a cool scene. It wasn't insane. It wasn't
insane. It was like fucking 1 minute 30 seconds.
Dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah, fucking. Man.
So, instead of like doing productive things like getting into like sales or something, these people, because they're criminals, they grew up on the backs of criminals. They gave them everything they have. Now they decide what's something we can do. Oh, drugs. Let's just get in the drug industry, and that's what they do. Well,
there's an awesome montage of how they explain how it's like any other business, and there's people that they cook it, and then they package it up, and then they sell it, and there's soldiers that protect what they are selling, and then there's messengers to show when the police are around, and then there is also people that protect certain streets in each block, and there's people on each corner. And you know what I mean? It's just how they explain how it's like any other business, but it all boils down to it's an illegal substance. So I mean, fuck you, undo them.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar.
All the while,
Kendrick Lamar likes this movie.
Oh, he does?
No, he probably does.
All the while,
Zilla Kami actually released a song, and he did a screenshot of Lil Z. You don't care about Lil Z. You don't care about Zilla Kami.
I can't say anything ever. I'm not allowed to speak. Yeah.
Here you go.
Okay. So, Rocket, the main character, as Mike had said before, he's a photographer. He doesn't really care much about this criminal activity. His main goal in life is to become a successful photographer and be up there at the legends in Brazil and the area. He doesn't succumb to the drug use, to the criminal activity. He's just trying to make it through. Although, his brother just gets gunned down by Lil Z. He has everything taken away from him. He has nothing. He's, for the most part, although, in the end, I don't want to spoil. I'll spoil. He makes it out of the city, and Dre looks like.
What's happening then? All right, so camera died, and I had to charge the battery and that shit. So we're talking about City of God, and I think what we'd like to close it off is that it has one of the best battle sequences towards the end with the
battle sequences.
Carrot. Remember when Carrot?
And it's not
Carrot and Knockout Ned. Shout out Knockout Ned.
It's not like one of the best. Like it's just an intense.
It has a really good ending in general.
Yeah.
Because as this gang war is happening over the killing of a man's family after a bar fight and shit, and
wait, what?
Remember Knockout Ned's family gets like shot up by Lil Z, and then he joins Carrot.
Yeah.
So, I think what was very like good about this is that as the whole like kind of scuffle is going on, there's frequent cutbacks to Rocket taking pictures, and it's like very well edited. I think this is probably some of the best editing I've ever seen in a movie. Like just the title, not like the music is good, and the title sequence, like you know how they do like the time lapse around him, and then it goes back in time.
It's not a time lapse, I mean,
they do like a small time lapse, and then
I guess you're right. But
in the beginning when it transitions back into the '60s, and it's so like interesting, the time lapse. Yeah, man. Any other words for City of God?
Yeah, it's great. Rocket made it out of the city because he only used himself and his own personal ability for his own gain. He didn't manipulate people. He didn't abuse people. He was a good person that stuck by his own personal values, and that's why he managed to get out. Everyone else in the story, it just shows how they have they have one fatal flaw to themselves. They have an Achilles heel, and that's just their downfall.
You heard it. City of God. You heard it. City of God's another good early 2000s film. I think we're going to close it off with a small little review of Royal Tennenbaums. Tennenbaums. Film directed by Wes Anderson. And, let me list the cast. You're going to be like, whoa. A lot of famous people.
None of you guys have ever heard of this movie ever. It's so underground.
It's not fully underground, but not a lot of people know.
Not at all underground. It's Wes Anderson.
Danny Glover, Gene Hackman, Angelica Huston, Bill Murray, Gwyneth Paltrow, Inner Candles, Ben Stiller, Luke Wilson, and Owen Wilson. Wow. Owen Wilson's in this. And, OMG. So I have the Criterion Collection version. It automatically makes me a better human. I'm so cool. I have the Criterion Collections. It's good for preservation of older films, but people automatically think they're better because they have them, which is just like, I don't know. I get digital versions of movies anyways, but I fuck with Criterion.
Yes.
So it's about like this really rich, wealthy family in New York City, and they have this giant house, and each one of the children has like this special niche about them. Like one of them's a very popular tennis player, one of them's a playwright, and one of them went into real estate and invented special brand of Dalmatian mice. Because you know what Wes Anderson is? He's so like
idiosyncratic.
He's very specific about every character.
Like what I just said.
Fuck out of here with your big ass words. Makes you feel so special about yourself.
No, idiosyncratic.
Okay, yeah. So Wes Anderson's very idiosyncratic about everything.
Say that again. Run that by me once more.
He's very, very specific about everything, and each character has their specific. It's more of a like a crazy love story, but it is about the family in general. So
like what I focused on mostly was Gene Hackman's character, Royal Tenenbaum. Trying to reconcile with his family because he did something really bad in the past and he wants to make it right with his family now, and he's divorced and all that, and he feigns a deathly illness to try and get back with them because he's really desperate, and all he knows he's going to die soon, and all he wants to do is just spend some more time with his family, which
he's a geezer.
His methods of trying to attain that are kind of flawed, but yeah, you gotta respect that and understand.
But he cares.
I'm an old person, and all of a sudden, I just realized that I've been so mean to everyone around me my whole life, and they're not gonna accept me anymore. Like, what am I gonna do?
Exactly.
It's sad.
Like, he wants to have a relationship with these people that he hasn't seen in such a long time, and he is kind of messed up in general. And he does say, when he's talking to Danny Glover's character.
He's a little racist.
Too, but he ends up, like, warming up to everybody, and everybody warms up to him at the end. And it's one of those, like, very personal family movies, but it's not like...
It's not like Marriage Story or something.
Yeah.
Like
it's got specific funny shit to it. Like the montage when he takes his grandkids out into the street to bet on dog fighting,
and then and they ride on fire trucks and just do fun stuff. They break car windows. You just have a fun time. You gotta learn to live on the edge. That's one of the themes of this movie.
That's like his flaw is living without giving a shit, and that's a good thing. So yeah, pretty solid. And, one of those good family movies.
Yeah, it's just happy-go-lucky, but there's also some dark subtext, like Luke Wilson's character.
He's in love with his adopted sister, and he kills him. He attempts his suicide and stuff, and there's that's a good aspect because Wes Anderson always has some forbidden love theme in all his films, such as in Rushmore he has a student tries to falls in love with his teacher, and that's a forbidden love type of thing. And in Bottle Rocket, there's a language barrier between Luke Wilson and the maid at the hotel, and that's another he always has this he always makes any relationship Yeah, Moonrise Kingdom.
Because it's the children that's looked down upon. Grand Budapest Hotel. The character Zero is being persecuted by the government, so the relationship can't really exist, although they do love each other very much. Every single Wes Anderson movie that's got something like that. Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I never watched that, but there's something about dead loved ones. I don't know. You watch it. You should watch that movie. I should too.
Yeah, dude. I have that in DVD, but I still don't watch it. Like, it's just like, why, Mike? What's up with that?
It's got William Dafoe.
William. Incorrect. And I think I'd have to, if I'd have to pinpoint the 3 best performances in this, I'm gonna have to go number 1, Gene Hackman. Hackman. Number 2, Luke Wilson. Number 3, Gwyneth Paltrow. I think they're my favorite.
I think I have to agree.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like Bill Murray could have had like a couple more appearances in the movie because his character was so, like, even in a Wes Anderson movie, his character was like so boring and like
minute because he's just like somebody.
I'm going to smoke a cigarette now. like that. It's like comedic, like just like sad. It's like sad. Yeah. He sucks. He's stupid.
Everybody in this movie is depressed, but that's what makes it kind of comedic. Is like we want to see if they're going to get through their problems or not.
The movie's like sad. Like it's not a sad movie, but it's just like the whole idea of it is sad. But even then, after finishing it, you're gonna have a smile on your face and you're gonna be happy.
Because there's always the great resolution. There's not like some giant huge revelation, but the way it pans out is slightly hopeful.
Because you might think your life is boring right now. You think why couldn't I live a life like a movie? But then you watch a movie like this and you're like, you know what? My life might just be one of those slice of life movies. I might just be living a good life right now. Like, whatever. I'll just keep enjoying stuff, having fun, whatever.
You heard it.
I heard it.
I don't have much to say about Real Tennenbaums, but it's definitely, if you want Tennenbaums, it's definitely a very like
Tannenbaums.
One of those good family movies. It's not family movie. Family. Movie about family.
Movie about family.
A good movie about family, but not
movie. That's like Finding Nemo. That's a family movie.
It's a good movie about family, but it's not a good family movie. It does have very dark themes.
Yeah, like suicide.
All right, so if you liked any of the early 2000 films we talked about, comment down below. And if you're listening on any podcast platforms such as Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple, give a rating and, have a great day. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next HASSDISCUSSES. Thank you, Drew Dumchus, for coming.